China of 2020 is not China of 2016. I think the world has realized that, and definitely then the approach needs to evolve. I think it's just a natural evolution when we've seen coercive diplomacy being employed. We will stand up and defend the rights and interests of Canadians at every step of the way.
Canada and its allies are calling out China over its recent actions in Hong Kong. Yesterday, Canada joined the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and the United States in issuing a joint statement calling on China to, quote, stop undermining the rights of the people of Hong Kong to elect their representatives. The statement comes after Hong Kong's government decided to disqualify 4 opposition pro-democracy legislators. That led to a mass resignation of other opposition lawmakers. While the statement names and shames the Chinese government, it doesn't spell out any consequences if China doesn't reverse course. To dig into that, I'm joined now by Susan le Jeune. She's the UK High Commissioner to Canada, and she's here in Ottawa. Hello, High Commissioner. Great to have you back on the show, and nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Thanks for having me.
I want to start off on the statement that was just released by a number of allies, of course, including the UK. It does very much definitively call out China for its actions where Hong Kong is concerned, but it doesn't specifically indicate any consequences for the Chinese Communist regime should they not comply with what's outlined. Is the UK prepared to sanction Chinese government officials?
I think, as we made very clear right from the start of this, we're prepared to consider all sorts of action, and sanctions is one of the options, I think, that the government is quite clearly looking at. But we obviously don't want to let anybody know what we're planning in advance, because that rather takes the sting out of it. But I think what's very clear from what we've said in the last couple of days is that there is a united front amongst the Five Eyes allies and a more broader group of countries that what China has done is completely unacceptable. It is in contravention of an international treaty, and we cannot allow them to continue to behave in this way with regard to Hong Kong.
Why is it so important? And I guess what was the process like behind the scenes to get those allies on the same page, to release one sort of one specific message from everybody?
Yeah, I think it's getting easier and easier, actually, to be honest with you, Vashi. It was difficult to start with. When we first started putting together these statements, you know, everybody is concerned about the impact and wants to get the wording absolutely right. But I think the more egregious the Chinese behaviour becomes, the quicker and easier it is to assemble, particularly amongst the Five Eyes, a statement and put one together, which is tough. These are not weasel words. We are saying it as it is here, and to be able to put a statement like that together at such short notice, I think is a really strong indication of how we all feel very strongly about this particular issue.
How much more egregious do you think the regime's behaviour has become?
I think it's getting worse, and I think it's getting worse quickly. You know, suspending, throwing out 4 democratically elected MPs is completely unacceptable, and they are also throwing around threats against people who call them out. And I think the response of the Chinese government to that statement gives a very clear indication of where they stand on the matter.
So if we do have that clear indication, and I know you said you don't want to kind of show, you know, no one wants to show all their cards at this point, but for people watching, and this is very much a domestic debate here in Canada as well, like at what point does the idea of sanctions become not just a tool on the table, but something that the UK, for example, is willing to employ? Like if the Chinese government has laid out its cards now in response, when does the next step become something that tangible?
I think the ground is very definitely pretty fertile for some stronger steps, but you know, when exactly further steps will be taken, I wouldn't want to speculate on. But we've already done a lot, and I think, you know, we've suspended our extradition treaty, as has Canada. We have opened up an immigration route to holders of British national overseas passports in China, with no limit on the number of in Hong Kong. Sorry, no limit on the number of people who could come and settle in the UK. We have suspended arms exports, so we've already done a huge amount, and I think we've shown that we are willing to step up our actions as the Chinese behaviour gets worse and worse.
Let me ask it in a different way. Do you think if that next step is employed, it will be something done in concert with your allies, with Canada's allies? Do you think that there is, or could you tell us if there is some conversation to that effect?
There is certainly very close coordination amongst the Five Eyes allies on reactions to Chinese behaviour in Hong Kong. And you will have seen recently, with regard to Belarus, for example, that the UK and Canada acted in lockstep in imposing sanctions on members of the regime in Minsk. So, yeah, I mean, we talk to our closest allies before we take any action of that sort.
I just want to ask you, sort of jumping off the subject, Huawei, of course, is a big topic of discussion here as well as among the Five Eyes. Canada is the only country among the allies, the Five Eyes allies, not to either, ban or limit in some way Huawei's involvement in 5G, in potential 5G infrastructure. Would the UK, if Canada does say yes to that, be okay with sharing intelligence with Canada, or would there be a rethink there of that type of relationship?
I don't think there would be any rethink of the relationship, and I'm pretty certain that the Canadian government, like the British government, is weighing up all the factors before taking a decision on that particular issue. I wouldn't want, again, to comment in advance of any decision being taken, but that the intelligence relationship is really close and underpins so much of our analysis and our approach to foreign policy issues, particularly threats from third countries. So I think we will continue to work really closely with Canada, whatever the circumstances.
So in your view, a decision one way or the other on Huawei is not going to fundamentally change the intelligence sharing relationship between our countries?
I'm pretty certain that the Canadian government will take steps which will protect the integrity of the Five Eyes relationship.
Okay, before I let you go, High Commissioner, one more topic around the relationship between our countries, and that is the potential for a trade deal between the UK and Canada. Bloomberg is reporting that a deal, the countries are on the, quote, brink of securing a new trade agreement. They're reporting that the announcement of a deal is expected within days. Is it?
I'm pretty optimistic that we are right in the final stages of securing an agreement. I can't go any further than that, but watch this space.
What does final stages mean? Does that mean that the bulk of it has been worked out from your vantage point?
Yeah, we've been talking for a long time. The negotiations have been working incredibly hard, and yeah, we are very, very, very nearly there.
Do you anticipate in the next week we might see something?
I think it'll happen very quickly.
Okay, I tried. Thank you very much, High Commissioner. Good to see you as always.
Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate your time. That is Susan le Jeune, the UK's High Commissioner to Canada. Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.